Today we're doing lesson 3.6, problems with equal groups of fractions. So we're going to start on page 26 with the math warm-up. It says true or false, 2 and 3 factors. Decide whether each statement is true or false. Be prepared to explain your reasoning. So on the first one it says 10/12 is equal to 5 groups of 2/12. So if you remember, an equal sign is like a balance scale. So you gotta have the same amount over here that you do over here. So if you draw 5 groups of 2/12, what would that equal? Shout it out.
10/12.
10/12. And over here we have 10/12. So what would you need for the first one? True. It is true. So make sure, go ahead and write it like this, guys. Bring down the 10/12, bring down the equal sign, and then when you multiply, you get 10/12 over here. So since those are the same, the answer would be true. When we have expressions that we are looking at, I will go write the value underneath. So let me show you on this next one. If we have one group of 10/12, what would that equal? 10/12. And if we know from up here that 5 groups of 2/12 is also 10/12, right? So the answer to 5 groups of 2/12 is also 10/12. So what would you have for this one? Shout it out. True. All right, so this one is also true. On the next one, on the left side, we have 24/4. And then if we multiplied out 6 times 3 times 1/4, what would that equal? 6 times 3 times 1/4. Ari. 18/4. Yes. So, Ari, following up with the question, is 24ths equivalent to 18/4? No. So you would need false, because those are not equal. Devin, you getting this down? Writing everything I'm writing? All right. Next, we have 12 times 2 times 1/4. What would that be? Colton.
12 times 2/4 is 24/4.
Yes, 24/4. Nice job, Colton. 24/4. And then we bring down the equal sign. And next we have 8 times 3 times 1/4. Cameron, what would that be? What's 8 times 3? So 8 times 0, 8 times 1, 8 times 2, 8 times
24.
24. And what's 24 times 1/4 equal?
21/4.
Look at it one more time. So 24.
24/4.
Yes, nice job, Cameron. Yes, give yourself a point. 24/4. So what answer would you need then, Cameron?
True.
Good work. Yes. All right. Does that make sense, guys? How you just multiply them together. And we know that multiply a whole number times a fraction is basically just saying that number of groups of that fraction. So for example, real quick, if I have 2 groups of 1/4, right? That would be like 1/4 plus 1/4. And if I add together 1/4 size piece plus 1/4 size piece, I would get 2/4 size pieces. Okay, so the way that I've shown you to do it, by going 2 times 1 and getting 2, and then keeping the denominator the same, is just kind of a shortcut. Does that make sense? Okay, so go ahead and turn. Today we're going to talk about banana bread.
Yay.
Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you like banana bread.
Only if it's
Oh no, no.
I don't know what that is.
Okay, then you don't have to raise your hand. Okay. A bakery, we need to cut down on the chit chat. Okay, when I say to raise your hand if you like banana bread, and 19 students start talking about their opinion of banana bread, or that they don't know what banana bread is, then it gets a little crazy in here. So let's take it down. Okay. So we're gonna have to refer to this recipe a lot, Todd. So what I did is copy it to the board. So the recipe ingredients, for one batch of banana bread is 1 banana, 2/3 cup of butter, 3/2 teaspoons of baking soda, 5/8 cup of sugar, 2 large eggs, and then 5/2 cup of all-purpose flour. What does one batch mean, Fisher?
It means it's like one whole of banana bread.
One whole, like a loaf or a pan or something like that. And you know, if you're a bakery, you don't just make one batch, you make multiple batches, right? So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna be taking this banana bread recipe and increasing the number of batches. Okay, so the bakery makes 2 batches of banana bread on Monday. Complete the table to show how much of each ingredient is used. So what we're gonna do, Cameron, is this is the recipe for one batch, right? So it's kind of like 1 times each of these to make one batch. But we're now making 2 batches. So instead of multiplying by 2 groups, or 1 group, we're going to multiply by 2 groups. So for all these expressions, we're going to put a 2 out front. And that's what we're going to do all the way down on this chart. Hands down, please. So we're going to put a 2 right here, Zarelda, all the way down. Okay. And then we have to go back to the recipe to see what we're multiplying that 2 times. So, how many bananas does it take for one batch? 1. But we're going to multiply that 1 by 2 to get the number of bananas for 2 batches, which of course is 2 bananas. Okay? Now, 1 batch is 2/3 cup, but 2 batches would be 2 times 2/3 cup. Let me show you something. I have measuring cups up here to demonstrate why the denominator does not change. Okay, so this cup right here is a 1/3 cup. So if you were making 1 batch of banana bread, Jackson, you would take and fill it up with butter, dump it in the bowl, fill it up a second time with butter, dump it in the bowl. That would be 2/3 size cups, right? But if we're making 2 batches, then we have to go 1 scoop of butter, 2 scoops of butter, 3 scoops of butter, 4 scoops of butter. So it's 2 for each batch, 2/3. And the size of this cup did not change. It's a 1/3 size cup, so it's the denominator stays the same. So, right now I want you to listen. 2 groups of 2/3 is the same as 2/3 plus 2/3. So that would equal what? Jackson? 4/3. 4/3 size cups. All right, very good. Next, we have baking soda, and baking soda is 3/2. So we already wrote the 2. Now we're going to do times 3/2. What would 2 times 3/2 be, Macy? 2 times 3/2. So if I've got a half-size cup, to make 1 batch of banana bread, I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3/2. If I'm gonna do another batch of banana bread, let her think it through, guys. How many half-size scoops would I have to do? Okay, so it took 3, no, turn around. It took 3 for 1 batch. So how many, so I'm gonna have to do 3 more for a second batch. So altogether, 6 halves. Does that make sense? Because Macy, 2 times 3 equals 6. And the denominator stays the same. And that was baking soda. Next, we're gonna do sugar. And sugar, we need 5/8. 5/8. So what does 2 times 5/8 equal? Evan?
10/8.
Yes. Very good. 10/8. All right, and I kind of did that one. Okay, next. Takes 2 eggs for 1 batch. How many eggs for 2 batches? Audrey?
4.
Yeah, because it's just 2 times 2 is 4. The last ingredient is flour. And for 1 batch, I would have to fill up this half-size cup 5 times. So Haziel, how many times would I have to fill it up for 2 batches? 10 halves. Yep, that's right. Okay, very good, guys. This making sense to you?
Yes.
Okay. All right. On Tuesday, now, on Tuesday, the boss of the bakery comes in and he says, our butter is about to go bad. We got to use it all. And so you say, how much butter do we have? And he says, 8 third-size cups. And you're like thinking about it. You're like, well, I know that for 1 batch, it takes 2 third-size cups, right? So for 1 batch, I'm going to go 1, 2, right? But if I'm going to use, I have to use up all the butter so it doesn't expire. And I know it takes 2 third-size cups to make 1 batch. How many batches do I need, or am I going to have to make to use up 8 of these thirds? Well, I'm going to go 1, 2, that's 1 batch. 3, 4, that's 2 batches. 5, 6, that's 3 batches. 7, 8, that's 4 batches. Does that make sense? So the whole number that we're multiplying by to use up 8/3, Macy, focus up here, is 4 batches, okay? And then the little trick that I taught you, 4 times 2 is 8, and the denominator stays the same, okay? All right, so here's what you're gonna write. How many batches were made? 4, because 4 times 2/3 equals 8/3. Dorelli, get to writing. If you don't stay caught up, well, you're not even on the right page. Okay, if you don't stay caught up, then you're gonna have to do this when we go out for our bonus recess. Okay? I said that. Okay. Now, get writing. All right. Based on the number of batches made on Tuesday, so this happened on Tuesday. To use up all that butter, they had to make 4 batches. Now we've got to change all of these to match what we had to use for the butter. So 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. Okay. So, based on the number of batches made on Tuesday, complete the table for each ingredient. So, we'll start with bananas. 1 batch, 1 banana. 4 batches.
4 bananas.
4 yep. Because 4 times 1 is 4. Next, butter. 2/3 is 1 batch. 4 times 2/3 gives you 8/3. Okay, they already gave us that one. That's what we found here. Baking soda is 3/2. So our expression is 4 batches times 3/2 for each batch. Remember, equal groups. So 4 groups of 3/2 equals, Ari? 12/2. Yep. Okay, sugar. 4 batches times 5/8 for each batch. Mary? 28. Okay. Eggs. 2 in 1 batch. If we're making 4 batches, that would be 4 times 2, which equals 8. 8. 8 eighths. And then we have 4 batches of flour. The 4 batches, and the flour is 5/2. So, Jackson, what would that be?
20/2.
Yep. 20/2. All right, and then we're on the very last page. And the very last page is matching expressions to word problems. So this is something back when I taught math to 6th graders that we did a lot of. This is your first introduction to it. What's important to remember is the numbers in the word problems need to match the numbers in the expression in order. So if the first number they give you is a 2, and the second number is a 4, if the first number they give you is a 2 and the second number they give you is a 4, then in your expression, the first number needs to be a 2 and the second number a 4. Okay? So, how much milk was used? The bakery that, I didn't ask a question. Todd's like, I know how much milk. The bakery that sells banana bread also serves fresh milkshakes.
This is making me so making me so
Okay. Each serving of milkshakes takes 1/10 liter. So for every milkshake they use, this isn't really 1/10 liter, but we're gonna pretend it is. They take it 1/10 and scoop it in for every milkshake. Okay? So if they were making 62 milkshakes, how many of these scoopers would they need? 62, right? You get that? All right. So, here are 5 descriptions of the milkshakes sold in a week and 5 expressions that represent the liters of milk used. Okay, so here we go. Match each description to an expression that represents it. We're almost finished. On Monday, the bakery sold 8 servings of milkshake. How much milk was used? So they've given us one number there, and it is an 8. Do you see an expression that has an 8 in it? Zerelda?
Yes.
8 times 1/10. There's only one that has an 8 in it, and it's right here. 8 times 1/10. Write that right there. Okay. The next one says, on Tuesday, 2 customers bought 4 servings of milkshake each. If you keep up, I might call on you again, but doing what you're doing is that's not gonna happen. Okay? Okay, I will give you, you can borrow one of mine for now, okay? It's very precious. Be very gentle with her.
Her.
Okay, Fisher, what number do you see first? 2. And it's in word form, so that could be something that you missed. See the 2 first. What's the next number, Fisher? 4. So look for an expression that would match this. It says on Tuesday, 2 customers bought 4 servings. And how much is in each serving? 1/10. So what would be the best expression that would represent problem number 2? Colton?
4 times.
Nope. What's the first number, bud?
2 times 4 times 1/10.
It could be that way. No, it could be. I'm going to give you the point for it because there's a couple of different options here. There's one that I'm going to prefer, but that is absolutely a possibility.
I know the other one. I found
Evan?
2 times 4 1/10 times 1/10.
Nope, that's the one he said.
Wait,
Jackson?
2 times 4 times.
Yes, this is the one I'm looking at.
Oh.
No, this one.
Yeah.
2.
I thought he said the bottom one.
He said this one.
Oh.
It's okay. Either one of them, like I said, would work. But there's a reason we're going to use 2 times 4 tenths. Because the problems later get a little more confusing, and so we're going to split those out further. Okay. On Wednesday, 4 customers each bought 2 servings of milkshake. So which expression do you think would go with that one, Mary?
4 times 2.
Yes. 4 times 2/10. Okay. On Thursday, 2 customers each bought a serving of milkshake. Place these same order 3 more times. So 4 times total. How much milk was used? Jackson?
2 times 4
Yes. Does that make sense? So it's a little more spread out
Yes.
and complicated. So 2 times, and then parentheses, 4 times 1/10. And then the last one says, on Saturday, 4 friends each purchased a serving of milkshake. They came back for the same after dinner. So that would be 2 times that day. So, Evan, which one would go with that one?
2 times.
What's the first number?
4 times 2/10.
We've already used 4 times 2/10.
4 times 2 times 1/10.
There you go. 4 times 2 times 1/10. And make sure you put the parentheses in there. All right, very good, guys. Now, like I said, that's your very first kind of introduction to that. In 6th grade, they're a little more straightforward. Autrey, did you need something?
How? So they're the same problems. 4 times 2 times 1/10. These two are switched around. It doesn't matter that.
Because of the order of the numbers and the problem. So it's a good question. You're going to get the same either way. And this is, that's why I was saying in 6th grade, the problems they had were a lot more straightforward. Like 6 students, each dug 2/8, a hole 2/8 deep. And so it would be 6 times 2/8, you know, so they're more straightforward. These are just kind of, but Autry's got a really good point, guys, because what's 2 times 1/10? 2/10. And 4 times 2/10 is going to be 8/10. So either both of them equal the same thing. Yes?
My sister taught me about this.
She did. Ah, yes, I remember I taught your sister about this. Yes. Okay. I'm going to stop the video. Our only practice problem today is page 35, the very first problem at the top, number 10.